Does this sound anything like your workout plan? You invite a stranger to live with you and your family for 1 month as your personal trainer, but he's not just any old stranger. He is David Goggins, a Navy SEAL who says, if it doesn't suck, we don't do it. That's what Jesse Itzler wanted, apparently. He's the owner of the Atlanta Hawks, co-founded Marquee Jets, and partnered with Zico, that's a coconut water. Itzler's new book is called Living with a SEAL, 31 Days, Training with the Toughest Man on the Planet. Jesse Itzler is here along with David Goggins. And after reading the book, I do think you are the toughest man on the planet, David Goggins. But Jesse, you start us off because you two are at a race. You're there with your friends. He's there. What stood out to you about him?
Well, I first saw David at a 100-mile race, and I was doing it as part of a relay team with 6 friends, and he was doing it alone. At around mile 70, I saw him. He was about 100 pounds heavier. He broke all the bones in both of his small bones in both of his feet and a kidney failure, and finished the race. And I'd never seen anything like this in my life. And I was like, I got to meet this guy and see what makes him tick.
So what did you do?
Well, I
flew out to see him.
I literally cold called him.
Yeah.
And I flew out to see him, and I was sitting with him for about 5 minutes. And 5 minutes into our conversation, I said, you know what? The buckets in my life would be so much better if a little of what he had rubbed off onto me. And I invited him to come live with my wife and I for a month.
And what does he have?
Just determination, grit. You know, grit is a great indicator of future success.
Yeah.
And he was the grittiest. And he just overcame this in this race. What I saw in his life story, I mean, it's a fascinating life story. He lost 100 pounds in 60 days to try out to become a Navy SEAL, and became one of the best endurance athletes in the planet. And someone with that kind of will. And
we should show that before and after picture.
Yeah.
Look at the before and after picture, Nora, of David.
Unbelievable. And so
you did this in 2 months.
Right. Yeah. Well, I did it twice, but that's the first time I did it.
To get ready. And so, David, when Jesse calls you and says, hey, will you come live with me?
A stranger.
A stranger. What did you say?
Well, if you know anything about me, I thought he was crazy.
Yes.
And he hadn't even told his wife.
Right.
But what convinced you this was worth trying out? Yeah.
You know, he convinced me of his mindset, that he was looking for more. And, you know, who can say no to that?
Yeah.
But you had conditions, David. What were your conditions? You agreed to do this under one condition.
Just one condition. Just do what I say.
Yeah, do what I say no matter what.
No matter what.
And one of those things, you guys were in Boston and you're running, and there was a blizzard or something.
Yep.
And you hadn't planned to be there, the plane was delayed or something. And you said to David, look, I can't run, I don't have any underwear. And you said what?
So what? We're going to run anyway, you know?
You said you need legs to run.
Right, you need legs to run.
Yeah, you don't need underwear. So
Right.
here you are with bleeding ballies at one point. You say to him, listen, this is hurting, it's painful. And you said, nope, we're going to do another 8 miles.
Right.
I don't understand.
You came into this in good shape. You ran marathons for many years.
Yeah.
I did, but at the time, I was in a routine, and routines are great, but routines can also be a rut. And I just felt like I wasn't getting better. And I felt like, you know, I had to just mix up my routine to get better. And David coming in was kind of like the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air meets Rambo when he moved in. It was just mixed it up.
Okay, so you did it, and you wrote a book about it. Did it change your life so that it has continuing impact today?
Definitely. I found out that, you know, we all have a reserve tank, and I found out that I had so much more in my reserve tank. Like, my baseline was here, and he taught me that it really should be up here, and I never went back from that. And that was an important lesson for me.
David, where does that willpower come from?
You know, it comes from, I had a rough childhood coming up, and I just took all that, you know, negative energy and made it very positive for myself to drive me. I'm a very driven person. I have passion that almost scares people, just to be successful and to make it no matter what.
But when you feel, so for most people who, you know, compete, and all of us try and work out, when most people feel like they hit a wall, they can't go any farther, what are you saying in your head when that wall comes?
Well, the wall, every wall, pretty much a lot of them have doors. I'm looking for a door to get through it and go to the next limit.
No, but at one point, here's David in the house, 2,500 push-ups to repeat of Rocky. You hear Rocky blaring in his room 31 times.
Yeah.
You believe that, and then just for grins, you throw in a 50-pound weight vest.
Right.
That you have this man running in Central Park with this 50-pound weight vest. Your whole philosophy of it doesn't have to be fun, it has to be effective. I sit back and enjoy the pain.
Right.
And you live your life, you said, you embrace the pain.
I do. I believe the only way you can, everybody's looking for mental toughness.
Yeah.
Every athlete, everybody in the world is looking for mental toughness. The only way you gain mental toughness is to do things you're not happy doing. If you continue doing things that you're satisfied and that make you happy, you're not getting stronger. You're staying where you're at. Either you're getting better or you're getting worse. You're not staying the same.
Get out of the routine.
Period.
Yeah. So what are you doing today?
Doing the same thing I was doing last year and last month and last week. I'm continually to look in the mirror, look at the reflection. It's called the accountability mirror. What have I done today to improve David Goggins?
And every day you do something. Your wife is Sarah Blakely, who you call the Michael Jordan of underwear. So when you bring this
'Cause she's
idea
the
to her,
founder of Spanx.
because she's the founder of Spanx. Yeah, that's a good point, Nora. I know. I just assume everybody knows Spanx. Thanks. So when you say to Sarah, "I want this perfect stranger," you said, "Listen, I did more background check on an assistant than I did with what you called a hunting trained machine living in the house."
Right. Well, David just, when we made our arrangement to come live with, to come live with the family, he just put his hand out and shook my hand. And that was all I needed. He looked me in the eye, and I knew that, there was going to be no problems, and I was in good shape. And David had a saying, just going back to what Charlie had said, he said, when your brain says that you're done, you're only 40% done. And I think that's something that also drives him and pushes him, and something that was a great takeaway for me. And that's, that's been something that always kind of enters my mind, and I think back to that and be like, you know what? I can do more.
Yeah.
That's
And
great.
yeah,
There is nothing easy about what he asked you to do.
no,
Nothing.
no,
Yes.
no.
Jesse and David, great to have you here. Congratulations on the book. What a great partnership.
Yeah,
Thank you, guys.
The two of you together are really awesome.
Yeah.
Thank
Really
you.
awesome.
And Living with a Seal is on sale now.